Good evening. I'm calling the July meeting of Planning and Zoning Commission to order at this time. Roll call, please, Andy.
Yes. Commissioner Sveska,
Present.
Commissioner Holm,
Here.
Commissioner Bruno,
Here.
Chair Costello,
Here.
Commissioner Tantillo, absent, Commissioner Skovich,
Here.
Commissioner Barnes.
Here.
Okay, would everybody that's able please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the first item is we'd like to approve the minutes from the meeting of May 4th, 2021. Commissioners, did you all have a chance to take a look at that?
Chair Costello, can I make a quick comment?
Yes.
This was a typo. It's supposed to be the June meeting minutes. Just we'll correct that for the record.
Okay, correct that to June 1st, 2021. Does anybody need a copy of the minutes? And does anybody have any modifications or corrections to make? If none, if anybody would like to make a motion to approve and accept the minutes of June 1st, 2021. Dan, anybody second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Svesta. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries to approve the minute meetings of the June 1st, 2021 meeting. Okay, at this time, I'd like to open a public hearing for the development of the Wolf Road Triangle PUD. May I have a motion to do so? Motion.
I move to open the public hearing of the Triangle PUD development.
Okay, any second?
I'll second.
Okay, thus opens the public, I guess we vote on that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries to open the public hearing for the development at Wolf Road Triangle PUD. But at this time, I would like to hear a motion to continue this until August because our petitioner is not able to present tonight.
I move to continue the hearing to August.
Any second? Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the public hearing for the development at Wolf Road will be continued until the August Planning and Zoning meeting. Now I'd like to hear a motion to exit the public hearing. Is that right, Danny?
Since we motioned to continue already, we're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, next. Next item on our agenda is the public hearing for the development at Joliet Road. I would like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the development at Joliet Road Triangle PUD.
Motion to open the public hearing regarding the development at Joliet Road.
Okay, any second?
Second.
And that's Greg and Dan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are now ready to hear the petitioner for the public hearing development at Joliet Road Triangle. Andy, you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. So first off, over the last month and then also including today, myself and the village administrator have spoken with the developers for this site as well as the other site. I'll mention really quickly the Wolf Road developer. They are looking to change some of their plans, and so instead of coming tonight and then changing by next month, they're just going to submit their final application, hopefully for the August meeting. And then for the Joliet Road development, which we're on right now, they have submitted some materials, but they are still in the process of compiling all of them into a final application packet for your review at hopefully next month's meeting. And so for tonight, we're just holding the public hearing. Every property owner within 250 feet of the Joliet Road property, as well as the Wolf Road property, was notified of the public hearing. There's also signs up. And the purpose of tonight is to allow residents and property owners in the area to provide their input, also to have the developer answer any potential questions that you may have or that the public may have as well. I think at this time, public comments from any property owners or residents who would like to come up and share their thoughts would be appropriate.
Okay. So anybody in the audience, if you'd like to step up to the podium, identify yourself, give us your name and address. If you have any comments or questions, at this time we'd like to hear them.
Good evening, Charlie Eck, 111001 Edgewood Lane in the park. The redevelopment, the triangle redevelopment plan calls for retail to be on the first floor, and both of the plans seem to be absent for that. And think that there's more discussion that should be taking place in regards to that difference. Thank you.
Okay. Good comment. Thank you. Anybody else? And I'm going to close the public hearing.
At this time, I see John Dory, who is one of the partners of the in the development, is here. If the commission has any questions that they would like to ask. And I'd also say if you turn to the orange tab, that is the beginning of the Joliet Road PUD materials. And in there I included, then this will all be compiled more neatly in the final packet that they submit, but for now I included materials that they have submitted, including their environmental study, which the conclusion was that there is no issues environmentally at the location, and also some site plans. David, if you could, would you pull up the first photo? That right there is the economic impact statement from the developer, kind of just a brief description of their project and how it would impact the community economically, and that's in your packets as well. And then, David, would you pull up the second picture? And then that is a site plan for the redevelopment. That is in your packet as well. And then the third picture is another site plan that looks kind of deeper into it. So it's just their developers kind of their statement. There is not an economic impact report from the developer as of yet. For the final packet next month, that will be provided. So this is just kind of their outline statement of how they think their development will impact the village.
Andy, are we making recommendations tonight, or will we wait for the final packet?
No, so the goal is to, when they have the final packets done, hopefully next month, to review it and ask questions and come up with any additional criteria that you would like to recommend to the board. So I don't think that we'll have recommendations until next month at the earliest, maybe even September, especially on the Wolf Road development, since that one got pushed back. But for the Joliet Road one, tonight we're not looking for any recommendations. We're just doing the public hearing. So.
Okay. Okay.
But I would say if any of you have any questions for the developer. John is here if you have them right now. If you want to wait until the final packet is submitted in a month, that's fine too.
Okay. Would you like to propose questions to Mr. Dory? Yeah. Mr. Dory, if you could step forward and identify yourself for the record.
I'm John Dory,
Okay.
part owner of J.J. Dory and Associates.
Okay. So maybe you might address the question that was brought up regarding retail. Is there plans for retail at this point?
No,
Okay. Just office.
just office.
Okay. And what is your opinion of the economic impact? Do you have any statement yet?
Well, as far as economic impact, we're within, we have about 20 employees. We're going to be growing. We are going to be leasing the space, the first floor, to another professional services type company. And we are in Burr Ridge now. I know that our employees, they don't drive anywhere to lunch. They walk everywhere, and they utilize the services that are right around them. And there's that strip mall that is right across the street that has, a few restaurants and a bar. And we, instead of having to go pick up Capri to Go, we can just walk over to Capri to Go. But we will be, providing revenue, by just using the local businesses around our office space. And beautifying the area, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the other thing, is it's an eyesore, and we're going to build a really, really nice building in that space.
Yeah, the plans look great.
Sorry to interrupt. David, would you pull up the fourth photo? Next photo. Yeah, that's as a concept drawing of the building, just for reference.
Questions, comments?
So for parking, I know is that going to be the economic study that would say the number of spaces that we plan on doing versus how many we'll need? Is that something that will be designed further? And I know there was talk of underground below level parking.
We have enough spaces. We were told we had to have so many spaces per square foot, and we exceeded that, actually.
Okay. Because the concern for residential that we do on the top floor,
Yeah.
then they'd have parking probably underground.
We
along.
We talked about that for about a minute until our developer said, or the contractor told us that it's just not feasible to put underground parking. So we had to position the building in a way where we can maximize the parking space.
So people could have their own spot, right? If they live upstairs and not have to worry about it.
There is no residential. It's all
there's gonna be
commercial.
zero, okay.
Yeah, there's zero residential. It's all commercial.
Gotcha. I understand.
And really, the traffic in and out will be minimal, because we are essentially, our office hours are 8 to 4:30, and same with the professional services office. I'm sure their office hours would be very similar.
And then
So
the
we don't
restaurants could use those spots when you guys aren't there. I mean, essentially around the area.
Say that again?
The restaurants or other kinds of businesses that you.
Well, that's something we will
about.
worry about at the time, but
not
that's a
part of
liability we probably don't want to, partake in.
Okay.
That's someone that's on our space, that's using our space, that's parking there, that if there's a slip and fall, if there's, the liability. I don't know if we want to entertain it, but we're open to any ideas.
I'll also mention really quickly for the Joliet Road development, the village administrator and myself have looked at it, and we're going to waive the traffic study for this one, because the traffic is going to be minimal. It's going to be their employees and the employees of the people below them, and that will be essentially it. The Wolf Road development will definitely need a traffic study, but we have allowed when they submit their final packet for next month's meeting, that a traffic study will allow it to be waived, because it shouldn't be an issue for traffic. So,
have the police and fire departments taken a look at this? Because I have some concerns about the curb cut on Joliet. I mean, if it's there, it should at least only be a right in, right out curb cut. But I am concerned about the safety of that entrance anyway. I think on our original concept, we presumed that might be a right in, right out if it was going to be allowed, but that the whole concept of the PUD is that Vine becomes a more primary road. It gets improved a lot with sidewalks on each side and curbs and median, and the primary access to those parcels is off of Vine rather than off of Joliet Road. So I could see potentially allowing a right in, right out, but
Our concern
I
on
think
that,
it's going to be a problem if a lot of people are trying to pull across and, turn left onto Joliet Road there when people generally use that section of road as an on and off ramp, basically. I mean, they're not paying very much attention.
there was I think existing there was
Yeah.
an entry on Joliet Road from the old development. And our concern is that if we don't have a Joliet Road entryway, that folks on Google Maps are going to get confused, because we've actually Google mapped it on, put the address on Vine Street, and it can be confusing. So for the type of building that we're building and the space, and we're also going to be leasing space, we need to make it accessible for any of our business guests or our tenants, customers that would be mapping that location. So,
Of course, if you can get into the strip mall, you can get into Vine. I mean, any access to the strip mall gets you there too.
yeah, I mean, we're open to having the fire department look at it, absolutely, whatever you think.
I wonder, isn't Vine right only now?
No, you
No.
can left.
Full access, the access point on Joliet Road that you're talking about is right in, right out.
Okay.
It's already restricted.
Yeah, currently it is, yeah, that's what I thought.
Which makes sense. You just make the left turn.
It's a double yellow.
Oh,
That Joliet's a double yellow by the driveway.
okay. Well, we'll have to listen to see what the,
I mean, I don't think we would be looking to change that. If it's right in, right out right now, we're okay with that, but. You mean more towards the east? The entry, the access? Would you be able to?
The way it's drawn right now, there would be nothing to prevent someone from turning left out of there or trying to turn left into there, right?
I think you're talking like putting one of those little dividers or something. for-
Well, making it look more like the end, that curb cut. I'm trying to think of where it is, between the Walgreens and where the Willow Hills is. Where it's laid out in such a way that it makes it
You're forced.
difficult for someone to turn left into there because you're not wanting to allow them to do that. But beyond that, just to make sure that there's adequate, room for, a fire truck or public safety vehicles. I don't see where the dumpster is going to be located. I'm presuming that there would be a dumpster with a dumpster enclosure, and that once a week or so, a truck would have to come to collect.
There is a lot
Refuse?
of space that is behind, by the retention pond. So if you notice that there is no parking spaces, that would be like the southeast corner.
Mm-hmm.
There is no parking spaces on the south side of the parking lot, and that's where we would probably put the dumpster. Right here. This area here, this area here.
Okay, I think it'd be good to indicate that on the plan, because I believe the PUD requirements show that it has to be shielded from view, behind a fence, and you'd have to configure that in a way that whatever truck is coming to collect it could actually get to it and still be shielded from view from people. That back corner would be ideal, as long as, just so that people driving by can't see it, but it would have to be configured it'd be a little tricky there to make sure the truck could get in and out.
Yeah, John, I'll send you and Jerry something in writing about that too.
Okay.
For next time, maybe just to have the plans updated to include a little, like a garbage
Designated area
shield-
for that, the
shielded
garbage.
area. Yeah, so we'll get that to you in writing. So
Thanks, Andy. I know it's hard to picture because it's black and white, and you're just seeing like, it's 2D, and we don't see the 3D of it, but there's going to be a lot of landscape that goes along Vine Street, because the retention pond, we're going to beautify that, and then you're going to have landscape on the adjacent to Vine in that southeast corner, and you're not going to see anything. There's going to be no eyesore whatsoever looking in that way.
Will there be landscaping in the final?
There is,
final-
I think we included some, the 2D landscape.
There is,
Andy
there
has it
is
open
one
right
plan
there.
in the packet that
Yes.
that is colored, but.
Yes.
So the
Nice.
green triangle in the back, sort of the back corner or the south corner, that is actually going to be graded
That is,
as
yes.
a detention
There-
facility.
Yes. And we can, it's going to be dry for, for an event, yes.
And Andy, just a question, are we allowed to have input on the species of plantings that would go into this particular?
you know what? I'm to be honest with you. I'm not sure. I'd have to review the PUD again about whether you can have specific species. I'd have to review it again. I'll follow up with you
you.
the next day or two.
I'd have to defer to Andy on that.
From
defer to Andy.
memory, some of them I think are, but others are not. But we will go survey it. We'll have the public works staff, and I'll go out there too, and we'll go find out for sure which one is ours and in the right of way and which is on the property. So.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, if there's any healthy, mature, old-growth trees out there, the parking lot layout could make sure they aren't killed off during this process. That would be ideal. But from here, it's hard to tell whether these are new trees or existing to be protected on this
I
plan.
mean, there are things that we have to have the number of spots, we have to have the building in the right location. There's a lot of things that go into this, and unfortunately, with the trees, again, we're going to beautify it. We're going to make sure that especially that southeast corner where the retention pond is, and then the site view from, if you're looking south from Joliet Road or coming west on Joliet Road, you're going to see a clean, nice building with, attractive landscaping. And would it help if we showed you examples of landscaping that we've looked at as far as
Oh, yeah,
what we have in mind?
I would be really interested if you have a species list, because, as we are a tree city, I think it's really important for us to maintain some of those native species that we have in the area. So that would be awesome. Thank you.
I'd have to defer to our landscaper. I don't know anything about trees, to be honest. So if you want to have some input in that, we're open to that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I really like the placement on the lot. It's very beautiful how it's laid out. And do you have a rooftop? What is on the rooftop?
Our idea is to have a cafe on the roof, so
Nice.
for our employees and for our employees only, and
Yeah.
for guests. Just our employees are there for a good amount of the day,
Yeah.
and we want to make it as comfortable for them and kind of keep them there longer.
Very nice. Yeah.
it's a joke, but honestly, we're trying to build a nice building that's, you know, it fits our needs, but it's also a nice looking building to add to the village.
Yeah, very nice.
So Andy, the comment that Mr. Eck made about retail, is that a variance that the petitioner would have to apply for, or is that a discretionary decision that we could waive?
It would be a discretionary decision. I know the PUD document talks about in the different concepts preference for you know, whether it's mixed use of housing and retail or office and retail. Mixed use was something that the PUD document does say that we would like, but it is at the discretion of the commission and then ultimately the board as to whether or not to waive that or anything like that. So.
So-
Sorry.
So I think the thing we would have to be aware, I think this is, I'm not at all concerned about the fact that we would have no retail, just because of the mouths that he's bringing, and ultimately those mouths will need retail. But the other thing I struggle with is the precedent. But we have to start somewhere, and I think this is a great use for that piece of property. I commend you on the money you've spent already. Sounds like you've got a little bit more homework to do to get us comfortable. Separately, thank you for investing or considering this community to invest in. This is exactly what we'd love to poach good tenants from Burr Ridge and continue to do so. So tell all your friends we're open for business. But, you know, by and large, keep, you know, I think with some modest refinement, you know, this is a great use for that little wedge. I'll take your word and your design team's word that the code and the parking for the use is complementary, but I would ask you to check the math for the numbers in your cover letter relative to the associates that you're bringing in, because it exceeds the number of stalls that you have. So maybe think about that. But you know, I think the landscaping can be solved with some consensus. You've thought about the detention. You know, we would have to address whether the retail component is something we consider an exception at our level and make the recommendation to the board to honor the exception, or are we concerned about the precedent? I like that you're the first one in, and we've got the flexibility. That's what we did when we wrote the PUD. We could make those decisions, but at the same time, the next guy behind you says, well, he didn't do retail, and that's where we could, you know, well, but he was different, you know, we liked him, we don't like you, kind of thing, you know, we don't want to get in that, but that's the thing, that's something we would have to really kind of come to terms with and validate why we let you have this exception, and why we might not let the next guy. You know, you're the first one in, you're bringing all this traffic all of a sudden. Now we've got a retail push. So I don't think I've got a question for you, but I'm excited about the potential of continuing the discussion.
Thank you, appreciate it. And I think I'll add that when you said that we're going to be bringing in mouths, that's exactly what your retail is going to need. So, and there is nothing there now. There is I think on the south side of the retail center now, there is a salon or a florist or something like that, and they might utilize the retail in the strip mall. But we're going to bring a lot of folks that is going to utilize that retail. And then I know the development at Wolf Road from the last meeting, they're going to have restaurants and retail on their in their development. And you know, if there's increased foot traffic there, it's only going to benefit that retail that's already there and the retail that could be coming down the line.
Do you have a sense of, at the end of the day, again, if this were to pass
Yes.
and you lease both floors, what the end value of the property will be compared to what it is today? The improved value?
I don't know. I don't.
Do you know how much this, again, you don't have to disclose it, but do you know how much this costs?
Absolutely.
Okay, and then,
I can address a couple of the questions that the commissioners have raised when
Okay.
it is time.
Okay.
okay. Well, regardless, this isn't going to be free, and you're going to improve the value of the property, which generates.
Oh, I see where you're, I see,
additional
I
taxes.
guess I was trying to get what you're, I understand, I see where you're getting. Absolutely. That's the intent, because
Yep.
you all have put a focus on that corner, both corners, both developments, and we'd love to be a part of that and to help you along, and we're here to invest in it. We're ready to go, and we'll, again, take all your recommendations, and we're willing to work with you, but yes, we are here, we're putting the money in, and we think you're going to be a great partner.
And you're the building owner, and 50%, and you will occupy 50% of the building? So
Absolutely.
you're not going anywhere?
We're not going anywhere. I live down the street, and that's why we're building it here, and also with the expressway, the accessibility with the expressways, it's a great corner, and we're going to make it look really nice. And so,
And then, last question. That slipped my mind.
We'll come back.
Sorry to hog
No
the
problem.
conversation.
Any other questions?
I would just ask, I know there's a couple issues that mentioned, are going back out and looking at the site where the ongoing location of trees. We talked a lot about, that there will be a concentration of employees on the site, from 9 to 5 on weekdays that provide support for the shopping center across the way. And we're making a few accommodations here that aren't really reflected in the PD plan. But one thing I would really like to see is we're going back and refining the site layout a little bit to accommodate the dumpster enclosure and maybe work around a couple trees. I would like to see a defined sidewalk on site that kind of defines sort of how your employees are going to get out to the street and be able to cross the street. I think it's something that, we're not at the point yet where we want to have to make significant improvements to Vine Street. But there is a curb line that comes down where entrance would be, and it looks like we're going to sort of figure that out a little bit and provide a curb on the other side. I'd like to see kind of a delineated safe pathway for your employees to be able to get over to Vine Street, and then be able to cross over,
okay.
get safely to and from the shopping center. So I understand once they get to the old shopping center, they're going to have to walk to the parking lot. That's the way it's set up.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is no sidewalks right on.
You've got a nice, generous kind of plaza, almost like with sidewalk around the whole building, but it's just their little island, and someone's going to have to come out and then, try to cross the parking lot to get out to Vine Street, to at least kind of delineate how someone would circulate safely.
Do you envision? I
Would be great.
I agree with you. Do you envision something on the corner of Vine and Joliet Road, like a walkway that would then lead folks into the shopping center to the east? Or do you want sidewalks all the way around the perimeter?
No, I was looking at the PD plan, and one thing that we did envision when we were thinking about a restaurant on the site was actually having a sidewalk along Joliet Road. Honestly, we're not encouraging people to keep walking further past Joliet Road, because there's nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Diane, can you use your mic, please?
Pushing the button, but nothing is.
There you go.
Whoop. Oh, now it's on permanently. Okay, I've been pushing the button. But I do think we need to think about how people are going to go from your site to the east to get into the shopping center. And it might not be walking, it's not going to be walking along Joliet Road, but being able to cross Vine Street safely and get into that parking lot. But your site plan just makes no accommodation whatsoever for the idea that someone might actually walk onto your site or off of your site. You know, they're going to have to walk through the grass, or they're going to have to walk down the driveway to get there. So just to think about that with your landscape architect and figure out kind of what the pathway is going to be for people to be able to walk safely from where they're working to where they're hopefully eating lunch or going to happy hour or whatever they're going to be doing.
We can consider, yeah, we'll consider that, and I think we can put a walkway on the northeast corner so that folks don't have to walk out where cars are coming in on Vine Street. That's essentially what they would do now, the way it looks. But I'm sure we can easily put a pathway in the northeast corner.
Like you suggested, if we put a walkway right through that grassy area kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
It could, and to be frank, building costs are really expensive right now, and we would not want to incur the cost of having to put concrete sidewalks around the.
No, and I'm saying I think that our original vision of having a sidewalk, you know, all along the Joliet Road frontage there, on this site, it doesn't really make sense because we're not really encouraging anybody to walk, you know, onto I-55. But we do need to think about how people are going to get from your site over to the shopping center safely in the winter or whenever. So, and it may be that the village could, you know, if you create a path connection, they can just stripe a crosswalk, you know, there or something so that there's kind of a clear delineation of where people should be walking so that it's safe.
Okay.
But yeah, there's seems to be plenty of green space at that corner to just, you know, kind of work in a delineated path that they could use.
Okay.
Okay. All good points. Anybody else? Thank you for all your information. Oh, John.
Couple things to remember. When we created the PUD, we did some broad brush goals for the PUD, and one of them was retail on the lower level and residential on an upper level as an option. And ideally, we would like to have retail here, but it's really not coming, and the first person in really gets to set the tone. So if you approve this, you're not going against the PUD goals. It's still complying with the PUD intent. It's not what we want, but it is still an acceptable use. The other thing is the economic impact. We don't get a lot in economic impact from any of the businesses in town except for a handful of places that provide sales tax. Between property taxes, business licenses, and sales taxes for this property, we can expect about $15,000 a year. I'm looking to have that verified by the West Suburban Chamber of Commerce. They have tools that say if you have this type of industry with this many employees, they will generate this much in retail sales in the area. Unfortunately, we just have food establishments that provide retail sales and then Walgreens, of course. So we can expect about $15,000 a year. Property taxes based on building valuation similar to what they are looking at building. I've looked at other areas and what the assessor values those buildings at, and I extrapolated it out. So that's the number. It's not a terrific number, but it's better than nothing, and it is what we have in the village right now. And like I said earlier, the first one in does get to set the tone. And we had talked with the petitioner earlier about building type, and what he gave us originally, the board kind of wasn't happy with, and we gave them feedback, and they redesigned their building for us. So what they do, the petitioner for the Wolf Road project will have to meet those kind of building design criteria. So he gets to set the tone because he's the first one in. So hopefully that answers some of your questions. We will get the full economic impact statement on our end when I get information from the chamber, but 15 grand is a pretty good number to look at. So, thank you.
Thank you. And it is a beautiful building.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other further comments or questions? If not, thank you for your input. I appreciate
you.
it.
Thank you for your time.
And okay, any other items for the good of the group?
I would say really quick, I think we should, I would advise now closing the public hearing on this one, not continuing it, but closing it. Of course, we will readdress the issue, but the public hearing itself, I think we should close that.
Okay, so at this time, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the development on Joliet Road, Triangle PUD.
I move we close the hearing.
And second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. The public hearing is now closed. Okay, having no further business, I'll entertain a motion to close, or adjourn rather.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, second?
Second.
Danielle and Dan. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you so much. See you all in a month.